Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a good day, whatever time of day it happens to be where you are. Let me know if you can hear and see me. Uh, for uh, for reasons, I ended up having to do this when Tristan's not here, so this is more of an adventure than usual. But I think Tristan has gotten me well prepared to hit the buttons that I am supposed to hit. Uh, So we are back with more Sortadoku. So as a reminder, if you are not aware, we have this ongoing Sortadoku challenge where I asked people to set puzzles that were like Sudoku, but with some twist of some sort. So the rules would sort of not quite be normal Sudoku rules, but that were not so far removed from normal Sudoku rules that you'd basically just have to start over. So we've gotten a bunch of nice puzzles so far, and hopefully this will be another one. We have this one features something called Oblivion cells, so we'll see how that goes. Hey, Kajito, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well. So let us figure out what the rules are here. So uh, we have each row, column, and region contains the digits 0 through 9 once each. Let's see, how many is this grid? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so there's two cells in each that don't have a digit. Uh, a region is orthogonally connected collection of cells, and regions are to be determined. Additionally, each row and column contains exactly two oblivion cells. Oblivion cells do not belong to regions and do not contain digits. Uh, yes, big thank you to Naverio for testing my Secret Santa puzzle, as well as to MicroStudy for testing my Secret Santa puzzle, which was uh, maybe quite an adventure. Uh, Although probably not as bad as Flagrante, I'm going to guess, in terms of amount of brain damage that it may have inflicted. Uh, But let's see. Okay, then we have arrows, because of course we have arrows. The digit in a cell containing an arrow indicates the number of region borders in that direction. Uh, if there is more than one arrow, the number of borders is the same in each direction, not the total. Okay, good. Okay, that is how I generally like my arrows. The arrows are just saying it's the same in each direction. Uh, okay. And uh, does this mean all arrow cells contain digits? I'm trying to double check that it means that all arrow cells in fact contain digits. Uh, oh, David donates $10 and says, "Let's get Zach involved early. Indeed, let's get a donation dance." Ba-boo-ba-doop, boop, boop, boo-doo-ba-doop, boop, boop, boo-doo-ba-doop, boop, boop, boo-doo-ba-doop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, boop. Woohoo! Boop-doop, doop, doop, ba-doop, waha! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Uh, Yeah, I think Flagrante is probably one of the hardest puzzles I've ever set, actually, that Naverio bravely tested it. It was for the Cracking the Cryptic book. I think if you are a backer of the Cracking the Cryptic book, I think you can go watch Simon's solve of it now if you don't want to try something that I describe as possibly the hardest puzzle I ever made. Um Simon's solve of it I found quite enjoyable. Uh, all right. Let's see. So there's more than one. Okay. Edges between regions and Oblivion cells count as borders, as do edges between adjacent Oblivion cells, but the outer edges of the grid do not count. So if these are both Oblivion cells, and there is a border here, it's not a real border. Or sorry, it is a real border. Sorry, it is a real border, I should say. What color should our borders be? Uh, Orange? Maybe we can do orange borders so they'll show up against the Oblivion. We'll try that. Okay. And so we have no borders along the outside. So we can put a black border around the outside so that we remember that it doesn't count because it's not orange. Uh, and I can put a light gray on every cell with an arrow just to indicate that it is not an Oblivion cell, if I understand the rules correctly. The rules probably explicitly say that, but I could not find it. But I guess it says uh, the digit in a cell containing an arrow doesn't quite say that every arrow cell contains a digit, but I'm inferring that because I think if it wasn't, it would say otherwise. Oh, I'm missing an arrow? I'm missing an arrow and I don't see where it is. I am being told. Uh, I have a couple more circles, but I haven't gotten to what a circle is yet. Oh, row 11. There we go. Yep, sure am. Uh, yep, there we go. Circles. A digit in a circle equals the number of cells seen horizontally and vertically that are in the same region as the digit, including itself. Borders obstruct vision. Okay, so circles also sound digity. Number of cells seen horizontally and vertically that are in the same region, borders obstruct. Okay. And sandwiches, the clues outside the grid indicate the sum of the digits sandwiched between the two Oblivion cells in their respective row and column. So we have Oblivion sandwiches. Delicious. All right. So I think I can probably get started. Oh, I should open betting. Uh, you can you may start betting. Oblivion counts as other, by the way. So we will do this. So I think there's a few like given ones. Like I think this is a given one. No, wait, sorry, it's digits 0 through 9. So this is not a given one. This could be a 0. This is a 0 or a 1. Uh, oops, 0 or a 1. Oh, I think this is a given 0. This is a 0 or a 1. Uh, let's see. But I wanted to start here because the 44 clue is going to impact things because like this can't be an Oblivion cell uh, because if it was, I would omit way too many things, right? The only outies of this are a 1 and possibly a 0. So I can't have 3 outies. So this is definitely not an Oblivion cell. Likewise, any of these can't be Oblivion cells because if any of these were an Oblivion cell, it would imply 3 outies, and I can't have 3 outies. I can have 2 outies, but I can't have 3 outies. So we get all of those are parts of regions of some description. I probably should fill in the 0, huh? Let us have Zach do the 0 dance. Boop a doop. Woo! Ba-doop a doop. Ah! Ba-doop a doop. Wee! Ba-doop a doop. Whoa! Ba-doop boo-doop ba-doop boo-doop 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 boo-doop. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. This, I am being told, is also a 0. I agree with that assessment that this is also a 0. So this is a 1 or a 2 only. Tristan did a 0 dance the other day, I seem to recall. Uh, this is a 0, 1, or 2. Right. So now that that 0 is there, people point out that that tells me that these two uh no, sorry. So it does mean there's one less outie, but because of these 2 arrows, we already actually sort of used a degree, or we got a degree of freedom that was free. So I agree that it allows for one fewer outie, but I still don't think it lets us gray anything because of where these 2 arrows were. I think. This is 0 or 1. Well, we're at it. This is 0 or 1. So these are a 0, 1 pair. So this number is at least 2, and at most 3, I believe. So this is a 2 or a 3. As we sort of start to fill in some of these things. No, this is borders, not cells. I was briefly going to say something that was nonsensical, but I decided not to at the last second. Uh, this row has a 0, 1 pair, although that 0, 1 pair is less exciting because it looks at like this cell, which I think is there. This is a 0 or 1. I agree with that assessment. Are we setting up an XYZ wing? This looks to me like we're going to set up an XYZ wing on 0, 1, and 2, but maybe I am wrong. Let's see. This is wacky in a delightful way. So, okay. So this can't be an Oblivion cell. Because if this is an Oblivion cell, that would be an Oblivion cell because the sum is 0 between them. But that would put a 0 here, but that would put a 1 here, and those aren't compatible because this number's bigger than that one. So that's never an Oblivion cell. Now, of course, these could both be Oblivion. If these were both Oblivion cells, these would both be Oblivion cells. Is that a problem? Uh, uh, not sure yet. Not quite yet. Let's see. Are there other gimme outies? Oh, right. That would break column 1. Right. Sorry. So yes, so that's a big problem for the 44 clue. Right. So if but this could be a 0. No, this can't be a 0. If this is the Oblivion cell, sorry. If this is an Oblivion cell, uh, then I think we're going to have a big problem because the only options are that this is also an Oblivion cell. Oh no, I think it could I think it could just work because I think I could do something like that combination for the Oblivion cells, and I think that would be okay. Never mind. I don't think I can quite rule it out. I probably will eventually be able to rule it out, but I cannot yet rule it out. I do not think. Uh, this being 2 just won't work at all if you think about what it's actually saying. And I don't think it being 0 can work at all either. But if this was a 2, it would be saying that there's 2 borders, but also that this cell sees 2 cells within its own region, and those two things are fundamentally incompatible because it would see 0 cells within its own region. Does it count itself? Sorry, does it count? It doesn't matter if it counts itself for this purpose, but I need to know whether it counts itself. Uh, 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 oh no, it's horizontally and vertically. Sorry, it's horizontally and vertically. Never mind. Sorry, it's not only in the direction of the arrow. I don't know how I possibly thought it could be only in the direction of the arrow, uh, but somehow I seem to have thought that. Uh, circle does count itself, but it's forwards as well as backwards because a circle doesn't have a forwards and backwards. And in my brain, this was a pointy circle. We won't talk about exactly how in my brain I thought it was a pointy circle. Uh, but there's no 0 in a circle for sure, Ron points out, because the circle does count itself. So if a circle counts itself, it certainly doesn't have a 0 in it. I concur with that statement. Uh, oh, right. And there can't be a 1 in a circle either, Selena points out, because if there were a 1, that would say it's not connected to anything in any direction. Uh, and that's not going to work either. So this, in fact, has to be a 2, which does put in 2 borders like that. Interesting. 1 second. Uh, see. All right, so we've got those two borders in. Trying to decide if I can infer anything from this double border, but I don't think I quite can, owing to the Oblivion stuff. Row 6, column 2. Isn't this row 6, column 2? Maybe row 5, column 2 is what Lakia is referring to. So this arrow has to be bigger than this cell. So it's at least a 1. But if it's not a 1, then it has to be at least a 3. 1, 2, 3, which is the biggest thing it can be, I think. No, it could be a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, sorry, it could be 1, 3, or 4. This cell is only a 0, 1, or 2. Uh, uh, okay. So Selena is pointing out that the 0 is gone in this column, and this cell. Oh no, sorry, that's not useful. It's almost useful. Uh, so Selena is pointing out one of these two cells is definitely a 1. Which I thought was we were going to figure out which one because of one of the 0, 1 pairs is what I thought Selena was saying. But that's not quite correct. Uh, okay. So I agree with Michael. This cell can't be a 4 because if this were a 4, it would force that, which would make this cell a 2, which it can't be. So that is very clever. So that's not a 4. Okay, so Selena wants us to count this cell. So it's not 0 and it's not 1, so it can only be 2. Okay, so that forces border, border like that. Uh, and I know one of these two is an Oblivion cell. Uh, I know these two aren't in the same region anymore. Uh, Zero or 1. Uh, let's see. This row is starting to get rather congested in terms of how I'm going to get my 2. So there can be a 0 between the Oblivion cells. That would be okay, I think. But it's worth thinking about if there's any of these I could rule out. So like that would be an obvious Oblivion pairing. That would be an obvious one. I don't. Oh, maybe these could be an Oblivion pair if that's a 2, maybe? It's possible. We might be able to rule something out eventually. This certainly can't be an Oblivion cell because the Oblivion clue for this row is a 0, and the 0 is gone. So let's gray that cell. Likewise, the 0 for this row is gone, so we can gray that cell for purposes of Oblivioning. So let's handle that. Let's see. Are there other places where we have 0 Oblivion clues that are useful? Not quite here yet. Uh, uh, oh yeah, we should think about outies in this row. Okay, so Sarah's suggesting we should think about outies in this row. If this is a 1, doesn't this row become impossible? Uh, I think if this is a 1, this row becomes impossible because then I would need another 2 in order to make it work, right? I'd need I would need outies that just don't work if this is a 1, because I need 2 more to get to 45. No, I need 3 more, darn it. No, 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 sorry. I'm not doing my math correctly. Uh, sorry, I'd need outies of 6, never mind. Uh, okay, so Selena's point is, this column's 0, this can't be an Oblivion cell, because if it was, I couldn't go down because this is a 2, and I couldn't go up because this cell can't be a 0, so this is also not an Oblivion cell. Uh, and this can't be an Oblivion cell because of this row, because if this was an Oblivion cell, I would need to put a 0 here, but there can't be a 0 pointing at an Oblivion cell. So my point is this combination with a 0 here doesn't work because it sees the border with the Oblivion cell wherever I put the Oblivion cell. So that's always going to be gray. Uh, 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 row 5, column 4 is gray, I am being told. Do I know that that's not a 0? That I'm not doing like that, and this is a 0? Uh, let's see. I don't think so, because these could be borders between regions, Jim, I believe. Uh, and so I don't think that does anything. Selena thinks it does. Uh, there was some look ahead people were encouraging earlier, but it was a little much for me to do with how much low hanging fruit we're finding. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is at most 4. I'm gonna hunt for M Nasty's quintuple. So this is bigger than this number. So this is 1, 2, 3, and at most 4, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 borders it could count. And this is at most 1, 2, 3, 4 as well, but it's bigger than that one. So this is 2, 3, or 4. Uh, and this one now is 1, 2, 3, 4 at maximum. This one could still be 0. But the point is that all of these form a quintuple. This is what M. Nasty told me earlier. So therefore, these cells are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at least. Uh, and no zeros or ones in circles, right? And if there's no zeros or ones in circles, that makes this a 0. Beautiful. So if there's no borders, this is not an Oblivion cell. And we actually get the absence of a border in 2 places. So this is actually a little itty bitty region beginning to form on its own. Uh, I will make this region blue to start. Uh, so yeah, so one of okay. So this now is quite restricted because now it can't be a 4 or a 3 because it can see at most 2 borders now. So this isn't 3 or 4 anymore because of this the absence of borders over there. Uh, so we've gotten all of that. Uh, let's see. Ah, Right. Okay. So here is Selena and Jim's point. I know one of these two is an Oblivion cell because of this 44. So this is an Oblivion cell, and so this is either an Oblivion cell or 1, and if this is a 1, that's an Oblivion cell. So whichever of these is an Oblivion cell, I can look at the 0 in the row and see that it's going to place an Oblivion cell here or an Oblivion cell here, because otherwise I would have to make a 2-cell sum to 0, which I can't, or a 14-cell sum to 0, which I can't. And so therefore one of these is definitely an Oblivion cell. And if one of these is definitely an Oblivion cell, I can't make a 3-cell sum to 0, so these are both Oblivion. And yes, gray is not Oblivion. So we get borders on the Oblivion cells in every direction except the edge. And so now we know that this has to be an Oblivion cell. And so this is not an Oblivion cell. Okay, good. So the thing I tried to disprove earlier is what happens, uh, as so often happens, because I'm now needing to make a 1-cell sum to 0. So this has to be a 0, which means that indeed this cell is connected to that cell. Uh, oh, this circle thing. Oh, that's a 1. Which means we in fact have a border here. We can finish column 1 with an Oblivion cell and a 1. And a 1, thank you. Oh, that 1 has seen up to that 0 and that 1. So that is not a border and that is. And as soon as that's not a border, this cell is also gray. Okay, so we've got all of that. Lakia is pointing out this cell can't see very many cells because uh, actually I'm not 100% sure, but the fact that this is a 0 1 and those are both 0 and 1 I think puts an upper bound on this cell. If I am because these are certainly in the same region, because the regions have size the regions have size 10, so these are certainly in the same region, so this certainly can't go to where it sees a 1. So yeah, so it certainly can't see both that and that, but I guess it could see rather far down here, maybe, possibly. uh this being a 3 strikes me as being potentially quite difficult, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, Nikolai points out that we can gray all the rest of this because there's only 2 Oblivion cells in each of these. Certainly this column, I know how to make a 0-cell sum, uh, given how many cells I have to work with, which is not very many. Uh, there we go. Okay, so a sum to 11 is at least 2 cells, so I can unoblivion those 2. And I could do something like 3-8 Oblivion, but I could also do this in a whole bunch of cells. Column 2 also grayable, right? Because we've got our 2 Oblivions there at the bottom. Uh, okay, these 2 are the same. This number is at least 2, because it already sees 2. So this is only 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to go ahead and make that note. Yeah, this is quite a nice combo. Maybe we should have used standard watermelon coloring for this. I'm not quite sure. Uh, let's see. Hey, Sandra and Nala. I hope you're doing well. Row 6, column 11 is now none Oblivion. Yep, yep, yep. It is now non-Oblivion because of this 0, right? So if this was Oblivion, I would need to get a sum to 0, which could be a 1-cell sum to 0, except that this cell can't be 0, and there's just no 2-cell sums to 0. So this is always non-Oblivion. Uh, uh, that's a good spot from Ximena. There's no new sums to 2 uh, that we can use. There's still only 2. And so as a result, this is the 2 in this row is sandwiched between 2 Oblivions, possibly a 2-cell sandwich, including a 0. Uh, so I guess I should say there is a new way to sum to 2, but the new way to sum to 2 uh, involves a 0. And that's not true in this row. So now if I don't make this Oblivion, I have to make a 0-cell sum to 2. So this has to be Oblivion. Sorry, Oblivions are not orange. Oblivions are black. But now, in fact, this also has to be Oblivion because of that 0. And so we can fill that in. Thank you, Ximena. And I think MNasty was also working on that. So that is a 2. These have become a 3-4 pair. Is that real? Or did I just omit a 1 from this for no reason? No, this is not even a 3-4 pair. This is just a 4. And so that actually buys me an X here, this being a 4. And so this now seems to be forced to be a 3. Why could this not be a 1? I seem to have known that this was not a 1. Was that real, or was that just Zeta making stuff up? That this was not a 1. Oh, it's in a circle. Right, it's in a circle. Thank you. So that's a 3 and that's a 1. Okay, and so that's a 0. That 0 is handy because it's going to get me some stuff all clumping up together. Okay. So 4 here is everything, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 here is everything. Yeah, I can give these a color because these certainly are different from blue. There is one border in this column. And I don't know where it is yet. These certainly, I can make an X there. This can't be a 4 anymore. So it's only 2 or 3. Uh, uh, Funnily enough, it couldn't be a 4 also topologically, because if this had been a 4 now with where the Oblivions are, it would have created a 1-cell region. Let's see. Why is there no border here? I have one border up here somewhere, but couldn't it be there? Feels to me like it could. Oh, because there's a 0 on an arrow. Yes, there is a 0 on an arrow that became invisible to me. But yes, this is a 0 on an arrow pointing up. So because it's a 0, there's no border there. Agree. Funnily enough, this 1 could still be green, which would be hilarious. 1, 2, 3. This is at most 3. I don't know why I never marked that. I guess I didn't maybe go as far as 3 when I was marking everything that I could do. So, oh, green already has a 1. Also, in order for this to be green, it would require 2 borders. So for multiple reasons, this can't actually be green, despite my claims that it could. If this was a 2, it could be green, as long as green didn't already have a 2, which it does. I should gray lots of stuff in row 3, because row 3, again, has at most 4 outies, and 2 of them are over here. So it has at most 2 outies over here. So this could be crust, and none of these can be. And again, if this was crust, I would have 4 outies over here, which is just barely acceptable. So we get all of those are non-Oblivion cells because of the 39 and the fact that the 39 only has outies of that. Now, if this is an outie, it's a 1 only. So either this cell contains a 1 or it's an Oblivion cell. Those are the only options because it sees 0, 2, and 3. And so uh so that would be interesting. Selena would like me to also work on this one because there's a 2 here. And the only way, so the 2 is more than 0 cells long, but it's certainly not 3 cells long. And it's certainly not 3 cells long in this direction either. So thank you to Selena and Ron comboing to make that work. Now, in this row, there's already a 0. By the way, these are a 0, too. And there's no way that this is a 0 because it already sees 2. So, in fact, that's a 2 and a 0. And that 2 actually tells me that, in fact, oops, there are no more borders in either direction in this column. Also, this 0, the 0 in this row is already gone, so these are both gray for the record. I've just noticed we have a math pesto clue up here. I had not originally appreciated the math pesto clue. Oh, this has been 0 or 1 for a long time, and I never noticed. But that means because this is a 0 or a 1, these can't be the 2 Oblivion cells for the column. So the 2 Oblivion cells for the column are up here. And they can't be spread like that because this middle cell can't be a 0 because of Sudoku. So this is always an Oblivion cell. Sorry, Oblivion cells are black. Oops, Oblivion cells are black. And these aren't Oblivion cells because of that. Uh, if this is a 0, I think we have a funny problem. I think we create a region that's way too big. Because if this is a 0, we're saying there's no boundaries there and no boundaries there. So that would force 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cells. Oh, these would just both have to be Oblivion cells? When they couldn't be because this one couldn't be 0. Right. This can't be a 0. Because if it was a 0, it would force there to be no borders anywhere here, which would force all of this stuff to be part of this region, which is already 10 cells. So these 2 could only be Oblivion cells, except if this is an Oblivion cell, then I'd need a 0 cell sum for the row. That would have to be a 0, but it can't be because in this hypothetical universe, we made this a 0. So this is in fact a 1. So we have that border over there. So we've got all of that. This 11 sum can only be at most 5 cells in size, so that's always gray. That would have made that last deduction much easier. But we will we will survive with having made not the easiest possible deduction. Uh, uh, oh, Martin points out this row has a 2 in it. So in fact, actually, the only 5 cell sum to 11 would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Sorry. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. But it would involve a 2. So in fact, actually, sorry, this is an Oblivion cell. It's an Oblivion cell. I'll get the right color eventually. And so that is actually completely forced. Like that. And so we know there's a 0 in here. It's not here. One of these is a 0, and it's not there either. So in fact, the 0 is placed. The 0 is placed in this sum because the circle can't contain a 0. So that's in fact the 0 for this row. I know that this is a minimum of 4 for what it's worth. Intriguing. Let's see. And I do need a 1 in this clue, actually. So I know one of these two cells is a 1. I don't know that that really tells me a lot, but I do know one of them is 1. Row 11, column 7 arrow is known, says Ron. That's that one. Ah, yes, it is. This is a 4. Yep, this is known to be a 4 because of that 2 there. And so we already see 4 in the column for the circle. And so because we already see 4 in the column for the circle, which by the way, this can get a yellow. We know those two are not yellow. These two are different colors, which now makes this at least 6. And it can only, in fact, be 6 or 7 in total. No other options. I don't believe there are any other options, at least. Let's see. Josh is interested in what happens if this is a 2. Means all of these are part of one region. Yes, do please remember to like the stream. Your likes are greatly appreciated. Arrows are per direction, not total, correct. Okay, Michael says row 12, column 7 arrow is known. 3. That's this one. I don't see how we know what that is. I would believe that we do, but I don't see it. This 4 in this column is interesting. So, is it possible that this is not part of my sandwich? Because if this is not part of my sandwich, uh, then I would have to make my sandwich up here, and it would be a 1-cell sandwich, right? There's nowhere else. Oh no, sorry, I could make a 2-cell 1-3 sandwich there. Never mind. Okay, I see the point now. This digit is less than this digit. That's the point, because this is counting the things in the row. So this can only be 0, 1, or 2, but it can't be 0 or 2, and so this is a 1. Got it. Okay. Because this is counting the borders over here, which is less than the borders that this sees. So at least one of these two is a border. Uh, is it completely clear that this circle can't be 3, Ximena? Uh, Okay. So uh, now that we have this Oblivion thingy, remember this is in a row with a sum to 39. So assuredly, we have that as an outie. And so now if I make this an Oblivion cell, I now have 5 outies, and I can't do a 5-cell sum to 6. So in fact, that is an Oblivion cell. And therefore this is a 4 to make my outies add up correctly. And this is gray. So we have all of that going on, which is appreciated. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, then we know one of those. We don't know anything about this column. We know there's only one more arrowy thing in this column for what it's worth. Uh, uh, okay. Uh, okay. The point is this digit's huge already. Going back to my how am I making 4? This digit's already 1, 2, 3, 4. This digit's already a minimum of 5. And so it's a minimum of 5. And let's see, what can it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 5 or a 6. Okay. So in particular, this is never an Oblivion cell. And now if I don't make this an Oblivion cell, my 2 Oblivion cells are these 2, and I need to put a second 4 there. So this is always an Oblivion cell. Uh, And now if I don't put an Oblivion cell here, I need to make these 2 cells sum to 0, and that's not going to happen. So we get that, and now this is not an Oblivion cell. I do have all the Oblivion cells in column 9. Thank you, Isaiah. Uh, I don't know when that happened, but it happened at some point. Uh, okay. Uh, yeah, I could get to greater than 17 with those, although of course it'll be a lot easier to get to greater than 17 with that one. Uh, I should start marking off sandwich clues that are done. That sandwich clue is done. I'm going to do this in black just to distinguish. That sandwich clue is done. 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 This one is done. This one is done. This one is done. This 3 sandwich clue seems interesting. Because my 3 sandwich clue is certainly not far enough to get to the bet tree, right? The bet tree can't be an Oblivion cell, because that would require a 4-cell sum to 3, and this would require an 18-cell sum to 3. That's not going to work either. So either that cell is a 3 or that cell is a 3. One of those two is a 3 for sure to make this clue work. Uh, hmm. Uh, this being a 3 seems awfully suspicious. Because it would mean I only got one border over here, but maybe that's okay. Uh, yeah, not 100% sure that I see what's going on there yet. Anyway, this one is done. Okay. This row has a 0 sandwich clue. So it can't be there. So because there's already a 0 in this column, so that's not Oblivion. It can't be here because there's already a 0 in this column. So it must be that my 2 Oblivions are over here. Like this, and that has to be a 0. So now I can mark this sandwich clue as done. This sandwich clue is done, and that one's done. Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, The column 10 sandwich. Ah, yes, this one. This sandwich clue is not done, but it could be, because I'm not, again, making a 4-cell sum to 3. Right. So the point is, once I did this one, it then forced that one. Good eye. So let us do that. So this is now a 3, and that sandwich clue is done. So there's one more border down here, basically, is what this is telling me. Intriguing. Okay, so and I can gray the rest of column 10. Good spot, because that is the 2 for this column. Hey, D-Web, I hope you're doing well. Okay, one of those is going to be there. This one has been quite interesting. This is a really interesting sort of like, it's much closer to a Sudoku than a lot of these sort of like big grid where you shove some regions into it kinds of things. But I really like the sort of the Oblivion cells thing. Also, this must have been a nightmare to set. Isn't this just done now? I think this is just a 6 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? I don't think I cheated on anything. Did I? Did I cheat? Did I fill this in when I wasn't supposed to? No, I didn't. No, this is just a 6. Just is a 6. I was afraid that I had filled in this when I was not supposed to, but I don't believe that is true. Uh, okay, so now if this is not an Oblivion cell, this column's greater than 17 is a problem, because I need to put at least a 17 here in order to get there. So that seems very likely. Okay, now that makes this gray. So if I do this here, I have to put 3 pretty big numbers in here to get greater than 17, but I certainly could. Seems more likely it's up here, but actually maybe by uniqueness it's more likely it's here, because why would you have a greater than 17 clue otherwise? Like the fact that it's greater than 17 suggests to me that actually it's going to end up there and not there, if I think about it from that point of view. Welcome, Anna, new subscriber. Uh, I hope you enjoy your stay. Let's see. Ron suggesting that I actually try and maximize these 2 circles. Uh, sounds upsetting. Uh, I mean, it's gonna have to be that I'm gonna have to maximize them after I know this crust is here. But I mean, there's no point in thinking about it until I know the crust is here. I don't think. Let's see. I know there's some number. I mean, I know there's at least 2. No, at least 3. So this number, if it's not a 3, it's at least 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the maximum. So this is only 3 or 5, I believe. And if this were 5, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this direction. So that would make this entire row, I think, have some amount of issues. So that puts us a minimum value on this, because this cell sees all the things that this does minus 1. So this thing is either a 5 or a 9, I believe, because this sees again the entire row, and so it's 2 times this minus 1. But this can't be a 9 because there's already 2 cells that this thing this thing doesn't see. And so by the circle, it can't be a 9. Thank you, Martin. So this is a 5. So that's a 3. And so this cell's always green, right? Because I know there's a border either here or here. And so in order to get to 5, this cell's always green, which means there's no border here. And in particular, no Oblivion cell there. Let's see. Okay, this cell is a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know that I really want to pencil mark that though. That sounds like the way madness lies. So we will pass on doing that. Let's see. Jim is talking about row 12, column 6, which is that cell. Is greater than row 7, column 6, which is in turn at least 4. Is this at least 4? Could it be 3? 1, 2, 3. Uh, uh, that means this is at least 5. Uh, uh, the regions are big enough that you can have the same region show up multiple times in a row, though, Jim. So you can have a region that does some sort of like S thing where that region has borders. Like that region could have 6 borders in a row, for example. Technically, you'd have to do that in order for it to be 10 cells. But the fact that the regions can slither like that, I think is going to mean that we're not going to have that limited of an ability to have things, especially given the Oblivion cells make it so it's not even that big of a challenge, I don't think, to do that kind of thing. The only one border here and only one border here is very interesting. I don't quite know what to do with it, but it seems like it's going to be tricky to not end up with some giant region over here. Uh, okay, so being encouraged to look at this, given that this cell is at least 2. Uh, and so what is the maximum? It could be 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, but in particular, this cell is at least 2 more than this one. Because it sees those 2. In fact, this cell is exactly 2 more than this one, because it sees the borders over here. So this cell is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. In particular, it's not a 3, so this can't be an Oblivion cell. That is Michael's point. So this is the Oblivion cell. And that means that this is a 3 and this is a 5. Uh, per our previous discussions. Uh, uh, The 1 in the 11 sandwich can now be placed, I am being told. It's not there or there, so it is here or here, and it's not in a circle, right? Because 1 can't go in a circle because it would make a 1-cell region. So the 1 is there. Good spot to Martin. Let's see. So these two need to add 10, whatever they may be. So they are 3, 7, or 4, 6, I guess. And this is not the 3 or the 4. So this is not the 6 or the 7. So this is now a 3 or 4, which is pretty interesting, I guess, as these things go. Uh, okay, so we're now claiming we can't make these two cells sum to 14 anymore, Ron is claiming. Because this is a maximum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so these would sum to. So you would have to do 6 and 9. Oh, and this can't be a 6 because of the 6 here. Oh, you're freaking kidding me. Yeah. So this is actually a maximum of 5 because of the 6 there. In fact, I think this might just be known because it's not 0, 1, 2, 3. So I guess this is a 4 or a 5. But whether it is a 4 or a 5, these now sum to a maximum of 8 plus 9 would indeed be 17, which is not greater than 17. Okay, so that makes me feel like we have now used the greater than 17 clue for all it is going to do, and we now know where the 17 came from, because 17 is 9 plus 3 plus 5. Uh, so cell I know is more than the 4 or 5. In fact, it's at least 2 more than the 4 or the 5. So this cell is 6, 7, 8, 9 for sure. Uh, let's see. Okay, well, this cell certainly now can't be Oblivion because this has to get out whatever it is, because this is not not a border. We'd have a 1-cell region. Uh, I agree that it seems like doing the region building here is going to be difficult. Uh, This cell is C's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is also a 6, 7, 8, 9, just for the record. Uh, let's see. Oh, Jim points out, actually, if I think about this 3 clue, I actually know that this cell can't be all that large because I know there's either 2 or 3 borders down here. And so it can't actually be more than 3 more than this. And so this actually can't be a 9. Uh, I agree. Uh, Whether it's exactly 3 more or not depends on whether this is a border. I uh, I think uh, it's either exactly 2 or exactly 3 more based on whether that's a border. Uh, this number is at least 4. And how many cells does this not see? There's 2 cells so far that it doesn't see. Um, so I guess we don't get a whole lot of buy-in on that. Okay, there's some interesting stuff going on with borders in this cell, because this cell sees at most 4 cells in the row. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Sorry, my brain was transposing this number with another number that was more interesting. Uh, this number is more than this number. At the very least. I'm going to take a quick break. I will be right back. All right, welcome back. This has been delightful, by the way, so far, Chili. Oh, I realized I could shrink my camera so that you could see more of the rules. Uh, Probably a little bit late to do that, but what are you going to do? Uh, all right. People are suggesting I do Sudoku on zeros. Since 0 is not there or there or there. It's not there or there. It's not there or there. So I think the 0, and it's not there because there's a 0 in the row. So I think there's 2 places for the 0. Uh, not quite. Going well, Jay. How about yourself? I do know for sure this is not blue or green, so I could give this region its own color. We can make this region purple. I guess I can get rid of the X's inside of green because once it's all one color, then we know that. Uh, this is 2 or 3. Is there something interesting about what happens if this is 3? I don't think so. Okay. So Selena's point, I understand. Sorry, I I read Selena's point before, but I misunderstood what it was going to let us do. There's only 2 borders down here. One of them is this border, and the other is the border between green and something else. So green is currently already 6 cells in size, and we in fact know it has a 7th cell that is seen by this 5 clue. So there's only a maximum of 3 more cells that could go here. So the second border is in one of these. So it's not anywhere below that. So all of these, Selena's point is none of those can be borders. And so this is a new region. This is certainly not any of our existing regions. This region can be red. Uh, can get rid of the orange. Uh, looking at that. Uh, hey, Mixo. I hope you're doing well. I have this horrifying feeling someone's going to ask me where red gets its 2, and I am going to be sad. Uh, uh, row 4, column 1? What? Are you arguing that this can't be a 0 because it's red or green and both red and green have a 0? Uh, there isn't a border between row 6, column below row 6, column 7. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Uh, right. Because of the 2. Right. Yes, thank you. Uh, so we've got that going on. Uh, so hmm. So I thought the thing connected to Michael's point was that this might be able to be a 0, but I don't think that's red or green. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, okay. That's very complicated, but it's true. If this cell was a 0, all of these would be in the same region, and that region would be red or green, and it would repeat the 0. Wow. Okay, yes, that is ridiculous. But I love it. Okay, that I'm quite happy with that now that this has been articulated. And so now when we ask where 0 is in this column, we've got to go through it again. It's not in an Oblivion cell, it's not in a circle, it's not in a row with a 0. It's not in that row with a 0. It's not in these cells that are marked as not being able to be 0. Not in those rows with a 0 either. So this is in fact a 0. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, sorry, darn it. I was going to say this couldn't be 5 because it would create a 2-cell region, but that's wrong for 2 reasons. One of which is I didn't count this, and the other of which is that this is an X, not a border. But other than that, it was a brilliant deduction, and you should all be very proud of me. Uh, let's see. I'm wondering if I should be asking about where the remaining Oblivions go, if there's anything sort of interesting about that. Uh, but I'm not sure. I do know there's a border between here. Oh, I guess I know there's a border between there because that's a 1 pointing up. Uh, I was gonna argue because green already has a 1, but that's somehow not the most useful of things. Uh, let's see. This is a minimum of 4, but could be larger. Uh, hmm. It's 1 or 2. 2, 3, 4. So this is a minimum of 5, I guess. But that doesn't seem super useful. There's sort of this bottleneck here connecting to this. If I knew something about where this sort of cutoff was, uh, like I think if I put a border here, I think it's going to break in some sort of like loopy count this squares sort of way, but it doesn't seem like that's the thing I'm supposed to look at. At least it does not feel that way to me. Uh, oh, how about the fact that this cell connects to that cell and therefore to that cell, and so this cell's not green, and so that cell is. Okay. This cell is in a region. It's not green because it's a 0. Okay, so this was low-hanging fruit for some amount of time. So what color shall it be? It shall be, we haven't had human flesh in a bit, so we'll do that. So it comes out here, and now no matter what, it has to take this cell or it's not getting to enough cells. That's a border. And now this 5 needs that cell to be green in order to do that, and therefore that's a border. Uh, So we've got that. This is a border by nature of the fact that these two are different. So therefore, these two are different because these two are the same. And so now, whatever this is, it gets out. In fact, it's purple because we have our 3 in the row now. So there's no borders over here. So these are just purple. Uh, so we have that filled in. Let's see. Okay. So Jay Dyer is looking at what this can be. Currently, it's a 5. Can't be 5, so it has to be 6. This has to be green in order to avoid repeating the 5, although I should put the 6 in the right place. Uh, Very wise spotting to the J there. So so this now is also flesh-like. Uh, so we've got that. Let's see. That's true. I should not say the J because there are many J's. Uh, let's see. There's 3 over there. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh, so green gets 2 more cells, and one of them has to be a 3. Uh, so it's probably one of those 2 3s. Uh, okay. Here's an easier here's an easier point than that. Which is that if this was a 3, green would be done, and green isn't done. So this is only a 1 or a 2. Garion was thinking the regions were 9 cells. So Garion was going to place the 3. But sadly not quite. If this is a 1, green is that, and that is the green 3, I think. Row 4, column 9. Is never purple. I think this probably is this pink purple color, but I'm not 100% sure. I do have to be very careful with all of these 10-cell regions floating around that I don't accidentally say this is obviously in a different region when it turns out that it's actually the same because I'm mentally using that. Okay, what do I know about this number? It's 1, 2, 3. And so it's a maximum of 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and it's not a 6. So this is 3, 4, 5, or 7. Uh, and if this were 3, it would be purple, and purple already has a 3 by Selena logic. So this is a 4, 5, or a 7. So this doesn't have that many options. I would love the ability to turn on row column labels on sort of the other side if there are clues up there. Oh, right. This thing is also in a circle, Mixo points out. So if this were a 7, it would be a 2 as a circle. That's very bad. So there can't be a border here, for example, because of this, because this is getting at most 3 and needs to be at least 4. So there's no border there, for instance. Just to note that. So these two are in the same universe. This cell can't be green, Jay points out, because if it was green, it would be a 2 and not a 3 because of the circle. That's true. So therefore, now where is the green 3, given that green currently has 8 cells? The green 3 is not there, and nor is it in any cell that's adjacent to here. So the green cell, so green must take this cell, and now green only has 1 cell left, and regardless of where that is, that cell's not a 3, so this one is. Wait, sorry, that's not true. This could be the 3. Never mind, sorry. I agree this isn't the 3, but this could be the 3, right? So I just know that one of these two is the 3, which does tell me that this is a 2 and this is a 1. Which does something, something, something? Possibly. Oh, the 3 also places a border. That's helpful, because that's a border. Because that's also an arrow. This cell can't possibly be green, because if it was, then... Oh, no, it could be green if that cell was red. Only just. So we've got that. Hello, love. Hope you had a good day at work.
It was intense.
Oh, no. What happened? I guess we could talk about it later.
It was just intense.
So, oh, green already has a 1. So green can't possibly take this cell. And so now green is at 1, 2, 3. Sorry, green is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Green could take this cell, but even if it does, then it has to still take this cell. Okay. Uh, uh, this can't be Oblivion, is pointed out, because it would make this 1 into a 2. Very good. So this is gray, which makes this Oblivion. Like that. Is that being Oblivion seen by anything? No, it is seen by absolutely nothing, but it means neither of these are Oblivion, for what it's worth. Might not be worth anything, it might turn out. Okay. Was debating if I wanted to mark this cell for candidates, but I think I really do not want to mark this cell for candidates. I will say my brain just has an impossible time reading the fact that this is both an arrow and a circle. Like, for all the cells that are both arrows and circles, my brain just rejects the idea of thinking about the fact that they are both arrows and circles. And then I end up uncertain until chat points out that that circle is also an arrow, or that arrow is also a circle. Right. There's only one more cell in green. And everything in this column is red or green, so this is always red. Ballfly. Agree with that. Now, funnily enough, I know that this 5 isn't red because I know the 5 in column 1 is red. So the border in this row is between red and whatever this is. Uh, 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 oh no, people are trying to get me to think about where human flesh gets its 1. How many 1s do I have left to place? I have a 1 in this row left to place, which is either on the bet tree or over here, I think, because it's not in the Oblivion cell. And I have a 1 in this row left to place. I was hoping that one of these 1s I had left to place I could actually place. Uh, uh, yeah, maybe it's easier to think about, if this isn't pink, then what does pink have to do? 5, 6, 7, 8. If that 1 is not flesh, then it goes here, and then once it goes here, it's got 2 more cells, and it pretty clearly isn't getting a 1 because everything is already pencil marked. So I like it. I like the deduction slightly more phrased like that. Uh, uh, let's see. What else? And I know that this is either human flesh or green, one of those. I do not know which one. Let's see. If this isn't human flesh, then human flesh is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it's going to take one more cell. I'm trying to decide if that is a problem. Oh, the one more cell would be this one because of the X. So if human flesh doesn't take this cell, it ends up in exactly this shape. I don't know if that's a problem, but it amuses me that its shape is completely forced by this one little X here. Oh, right. This arrow, I'm gonna guess this is row 7, column 6, would be broken by that. So if this doesn't take that, then we end up with this, and now this 4 or 5 arrow is only 1, 2, 3. Oh, darn, it's 4. It ends up being 4, uh, in that universe. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh, uh, the 3 circle is broken. Why? Uh, oh, because I have to put a border here. Oh boy, that is like into trifurcation there. We're like past bifurcation at that point. But you're right. If this happens, now so far there's 1, 2, 3 borders in this column, but this needs to have at least 4, so there would be 1 here. But then that breaks because this 3 is in a circle, and because of that border, it would be a 2 and not a 3. Okay, so trifurcation aside, this cell is now pink slash human flesh, whatever you want to call it. Uh, I don't know if it ends up even worse if I end up now making that go into pink. I'm not sure. Uh, uh, it's not that either of these cells is broken in that universe. It's that they break together. Is what happens. Uh, I I did not for half a second believe that was part of the intended path. Uh, uh, Rarely, when I complain about a deduction, do I think the deduction is part of the intended path. Uh, uh, okay, so if this is not human flesh, so Garion is encouraging us to think about what happens in the world where this is not human flesh. Where this is not human flesh, I then end up with all of these being together. Uh, and now we're just toast because the second this cell takes this, we now have this 3 circle is broken. Because now this 3 circle sees 4, and that's not even like a that's not even a bad look ahead to see, because we just sort of follow it down the column, uh, and now it's got to take something else, and so it's got to end up being there. And I think we can even extend that argument to this cell, because if this cell is not, oh, this cell could be purple though. Sorry, this cell could be purple. I don't know if it is purple or not. Uh, but I think I can argue this cell is either purple or human flesh, because if it's neither, then we get the same problem. But I don't know how much it is worth marking that. Uh, uh, let's see. J Dyer says the 2 in column 4 uh, must be flesh oriented because none of these can be 2s, right? So there is a 2, in fact, in one of these 2 cells. Uh, I agree. Uh, let us see. Uh, uh, Row 1 and 2 of column 4. Can we count the arrow in row 1, 2, column 4? I don't see an arrow in row 1, 2 of column 4. Oh, row 12, column 4. There we go. 1, 2, 3. I don't think all of these can be flesh for lots of reasons, but let me just check. Right, they can't all be flesh. So this is at least 1, 2, 3, 4 is the minimum. And then the maximum would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's not a 5. Uh, ah. So is this yellow is the question. Uh, so, but this being at least a 4 is very interesting because it says all of these are in the same region, right? Uh, because as soon as this is a 4, it's not seeing anything into Oblivion. So all 4 of these are in the same region. I don't know what the region is, but they're all in it. Which means that I can count that this is a 2. Uh, uh, right. If it's yellow, the point is now the 2 arrow and the 1 arrow would be counting the same number. What? People are saying that's wrong? Oh, could look right. Okay. So this can't be yellow though is the point. Because if this was yellow, we know that it would break because these two would be the same. So yeah, so it's not yellow, and so as soon as it's not yellow, then we can oops, wrong mode. Then we can bestow upon it a color of carnival cake. This cell also gets carnival cake. Uh, this is still a 2. I think my logic there was right, more or less. Uh, so there we go. There's the one between the 2 and the 1. Uh, and this is a 4, is the point. Because again, it can only see 4. Uh, so this is at least a 5, and so this is 5, 6, 7, or 8. Uh, uh, no, if it was yellow 6 or 7, it would have made these 2 arrows the same number. Was the problem? Uh, that was sort of the key. I was distracted thinking about the circle, but the key was really about the arrows. Uh, uh, yep. So only one more border in column 4. So in particular, human flesh does not get a second 0, and so we know that the border is above this. So there's no border in these areas. Uh, uh, now, uh, I think I could prove in a sort of painful way that this isn't yellow, but I'm just going to leave it for now rather than thinking about the painful way of doing this. But all of these are the same. So one of these two is a thing. Uh, Selena is trying to do the painful thing. 4, 8, 4. Uh, People are saying this circle is big. Oh, because it sees a bunch of big digits. So it's at least 3 because it sees 3, but it's not 3, 4, or 5. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. But if I count the number of rows I could actually have, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not a 9. And if I count the number of cells that it could possibly see in this direction, I think it's actually capped at 7. Because it's certainly not red in that universe, because it sees 6 or 7 cells and it can only see one cell of red. So red could never, ever, ever be this. So this is 6 or 7, which means this number is even bigger than the 6 or 7. This number is 7, 8, or 9 for what it is worth, but it can't possibly be 9 because if it was 9, it would have to be blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It would have to be blue, but then it can't see 9 cells of blue because there are 2 cells in blue it doesn't see. So this is certainly 7 or 8. But this 7 or 8 actually does have to be blue because of the 3. These two, uh, well, whether these two are the same or not, these are either the same or they're different. If they're the same, then the region extends to here and I have to extend up. And if they're different, then this clue can only extend to there and it has to extend up. So all of this, at the very least, is blue, is one of the points of all of this. Uh, it can't be human flesh because human flesh already has a 0, Garion. Uh, so we know the absolute maximum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in order to get to 7, this cell's also always blue. Uh, okay, this cell actually is larger than this one. So 1, 2, 3. So no, sorry, it's not necessarily oh, that's the point, actually. This 3 can't be blue, because if the 3 was blue, these two clues would be equal. So this clue's not blue, for what it's worth. I have no earthly idea how to mark that. But that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this cell is in fact blue. Uh, uh, and the 3, which is not blue, we now know has to extend to take at least that cell. Because otherwise, we run into issues. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is now a minimum of 8, is pointed out just by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh, uh, yeah, it's the circle that's extending because this circle number is bigger than that number, so this number had to be huge. Uh, oh, there's one more Oblivion cell in row 4. Thank you, chat. Which means that's not an Oblivion cell. Uh, this is in a different region from that because I can't repeat 2 within the region. Sorry, I did that wrong. This is a border. Let me put it that way. This is a border because I can't repeat 2 within the region. Uh, and this is not a border because we already have our 2 borders in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this can't be blue. This cell can't be blue because of the 1 arrow. If this is blue, there's definitely 2 borders here. That was way easier than the thing with the 3, by the way. But if blue went now into this column, there would definitely be 2 borders because there's nowhere near enough cells in blue for blue to take the entire rest of the column, as well as all of these. Blue would be like a 28 cell region by the time it was done. So in fact, this number is 2 more than this number, which means that this is a 9 and this is a 7, and that's a 6. And we can just fill in the rest of blue. Oh, not quite. But we know this is a 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We know that is blue, and we know that isn't blue, at the very least. This number is apparently not a 6 or a 9. This number is not a 9. Let's see. So we know we need 6 borders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Annoyingly. This can't be a 2 anymore, though. Because if there were 2 over here, this would not be only 1 more than this. So this is a 1 now. Uh, uh, okay, and we only have 1 more sort of thing here. Okay, do we now know that this isn't anything? So the only thing it could be is so this is the exact argument I was trying to avoid. The only color this could be, given that it has a 0 in it, is yellow. But if it is yellow, it forces this 0 to be between 2 regions that have zeros and breaks. So for Selena, I will give this ocean spray. Uh, uh, I just didn't want to have to make that argument about the 0 because it's pretty tedious. Uh, but I will accept doing so. Let's see. People are saying this cell is black, which it is because it's the last one in the column. So we now have that going on. Yes, and now ocean spray, because of this 6 circle, is going to get some stuff, right? 4, 5, right. Ocean spray always gets this 1, because of that, J. Dyer points out, because of the 6 in the cross. Oh, this is not an Oblivion cell anymore because we have that, which means this is the last Oblivion cell. And we are Oblivioned out now. Okay. See, Garion says row 8, column 4, and column 5 have a border between them. The 3 circle has 3 cells in a row without a border. The 3 circle. I don't know what 3 circle we're talking about. I'm sure it's right, but I don't know. This 3 circle, that 3 circle, right? That one. Okay, there we go. So there's 2 borders missing from this 3. I don't know whether the 3 does that or does that. That's a beautiful point. So there's 2 missing borders over here, whereas the absolute maximum would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But 2 of the borders are missing for this 3. That means there's no more borders missing, which means that is a border, is Garion's point. And so now that's a maximum of 4 or 5. So this cell is also ocean spray. Oh, and so in fact, this cell is also ocean spray because otherwise I'm not getting to 6. Because I have run out of ocean sprayage in that direction. Uh, so we get borders all over there. Uh, and this is now a border because ocean spray already has a 6. Uh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, actually, could this be purple? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it could be. That probably breaks something that chat will tell me, but I don't really feel like looking at it at the moment. Uh, let's see. There's probably lower hanging fruit than that, I'm gonna guess. Uh, one, two, three, four, five. So this is always connected to the cell below it, at least, via that argument. Because yes, right. Because going right, I certainly can only get to 5. So these are always connected, at the very least. Uh, let's see. Uh, let's see. Martin is doing Sortadoku on zeros. Uh, so 0 in row 9. 9. Let's see. It's not in those places. Wait, no, there's already a 0 in row 9, right? What about row 4? Uh, it's not there. Could be there. Uh, could be here or here or here, I think. No, not there. There is a 0 in that column. Uh, oh, because blue already has a 0. There we go. Blue already has a 0. That was the thing I was missing. Uh, where else are we missing zeros? We've only got 1 0 missing, right? Which must be the one that is in this row and this column. That must be all the zeros, right? Check every row, make sure there's a 0. Yes, okay. Uh, so we've got that. Let's see. People would like to do the same thing for ones. Uh, let's see. So row 4's 1 could be here or here. Row 9. Row 9's 1. Uh, row 9's 1 can only be here. So that means that these are both 1. Uh, uh, so we get all of that. Let's see. That's not a 2. Is this cell a 2? If this cell is not a 2, then this is not blue. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this just isn't blue. Because blue's already got 9 cells, and if blue took this cell, it would take 2 more cells. So never mind. That cell's just not blue. We don't even have to sort of worry about that. Let's see. Oh, this has got a lot of none borders sort of forced. Because this needs to get to at least 4. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe it's only 1 none border force. That's 1 more none border force, though. Uh, so the question is, could all of this be purple? And the answer is no, because purple is currently at 6 cells, and that would be 11. So there is a border between this mass and purple. So I'm happy to give this mass a color. this can be good old rust bucket, I believe. Uh, up here. So we have that. Oh, and we know, no. Yes, we do know how many borders it's going to see. It's going to see 4 borders, not 5, because there's no way there's a bonus border other than the border we don't see between purple and rust bucket. So this is going to be a 4, regardless. Uh, uh, we have 11 ones in the grid. That seems promising. Let's see, is this the only row where we do not have a 1? Yes, that is a 1. Uh, yeah, I guess we should do candidates for this circle. Let's see. It sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It sees 5 borders automatically, so it's at least 5. But at absolute maximum, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is at least 5 and at most 7. So it can only be 5 or 7. I think 7 is more likely than 5. But I'm not 100% on that. Oh, where is 2 in row 1? I don't know. Uh, oh, maybe actually I do know that none of those are 2s, and I know that that's not a 2. I actually do know that 2 in row 1 is there, weirdly enough. Uh, that is impressive. Uh, uh, so yeah, so we have all the 1s in the grid. So just topologically, Rust Bucket can't get a 1 other than this one. Uh, because there's nowhere else to put it. So that's going to be Rust Bucket. And now that's going to force this to be Rust Bucket as well, because blue, remember, only has 1 cell left to give. Now these 2 2s need to be Rust Bucket and purple because nothing else can get to them. And it would be very weird if this one was purple. In particular, it would be a huge problem. So this is the one that's purple. Uh, and this is the one that is Rust Bucket. Oh, sorry, Rust Bucket. There we go. And because of this X, this cell is also Rust Bucket, like that. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells. So 2 more. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells. So 2 more to go. Okay. Well, now this is already more than 5, so it has to be 7. And if it's 7, that means this cell is Rust Bucket. Oh, again, can do that. Put in this border. Uh, okay. Now this is at 9 cells, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now this cell can't be Rust Bucket anymore. Sarah points out it can only be what Sarah calls pink, which I usually call purple, but I 100% acknowledge that it looks like it really plays in the liminal space between purple and pink for sure. Uh, let's see. Okay. Uh, the 2 in row 2 is definitely blue, is being pointed out. Uh, I agree with that. So one of these two cells is the blue 2. I don't yet know which one. Uh, let's see. I can lose some of these x's, which are now internal. Can lose those x's, which are now internal. Uh, okay, we only get one more cell. And so people are saying I should think about where this thing is getting a 4. It's not there. Oops. It's not there. Uh, so if this is getting a 4, oh, it's not those two either, actually, because of that 4 looking up. So this thing needs to get a 4, and the only place you can get a 4 is actually there. Uh, I wasn't appreciate in my brain every time I scanned it, that 4 was looking at that column, but the 4 is actually looking at this column. Uh, which meant that this is not getting a 4 anywhere it currently exists, and the only place it can claim to get a 4 is there, which is quite big, actually, because it finishes this and lets us flesh this color out. Oh, also, I should put the 4 there, where I said we have to have a 4, which has made this a 5, believe it or not. Uh, Rust Bucket's 4 circle is done. Good, good. So this cell is not Rust Bucket. Uh, Which I guess I also could have done by saying this cell has to be Rust Bucket because purple is done. Which I said, but then did not actually do. So there's two different proofs for you that is how we finish the screwdriver that is Rust Bucket, which means that this must be blue, which as far as twoage goes is rather unfortunate, in fact. Uh, let's see. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I count that I have 1 degree of freedom on my 2 borders. Oh, but blue is done now as well, because blue is that was the last cell. Blue. Uh, I will say, students not a huge fan of exercises of the form. Here are 2 different ways to do the same thing. Even though I always find it very satisfying when there's 2 different ways to do the same thing that give you the same answer. Students not a huge fan. Uh, by and large. Let's see. 3 in the screwdriver has a little bit of flexibility. Uh, uh, oh my god, is this spelling out zeta at the top? Am I what's the word I was trying to think of? There was definitely a word I was trying to think of. Vain. There we go. Am I being vain to think that this is spelling out zeta at the top? Uh, let's see. Drunk. I like drunk. Drunk is a good one. Uh, uh, ah, green needs a 4. And Lakia has discovered that the only place green is getting a 4, given that green is growing by 1 cell, is here. Agree. Uh, how many cells does human flesh have left to grow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Human flesh only has 2 cells to grow. And it doesn't have anywhere it can get a 4 except here. Because if it tries to grow to get a 4 over here, well, 3 is not 4, and 1 is not 4, and this cell's not 4 either. So in fact, these two are just the only place that human flesh is going to get its 4. Which finishes at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I didn't actually count that one, even though I selected it by accident. So therefore, that's the last green cell. Row 5, column 2. Right. So now this cell is red. I did something wrong? What did I do wrong? What is wrong? Why couldn't human flesh take row 5, column 3? Green does have 10 cells. Because there was an X here. That X meant that as soon as human flesh took this 4, it also took that cell. Uh, uh, I was about to place the 4 in column 4, but I realized upon further contemplation there's already a 4. But we have proven if there was a second 4 in the column, it would go there. Okay, so this 3 circle is now quite forcing, and it can't be any of the extant colors. So let's bring out royal purple. We'll have a very purple sort of day, and this by that X, this is also royal purple. So we've got all of that. Oh, this 3 is this 3 going to be red? Is I guess the question. Yes, because otherwise red isn't getting a 1. Because red now is sort of isolated into these cells, and we know 2 of the ones of them are not that. So these 2 are in fact both red, which then forces this to be red because otherwise it's not going to circle, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 cells. So red only gets 1 more, which now means this. Oh no, sorry, that's not necessarily true. It is now circling right. Sorry, right. So now it is circling right. It could not have been ocean spray once this was red, Garion, because this was red because it was the only one in town for red to dance with. And so this now is ocean spray by the fact that 3 is circling properly. Always important to get your daily circling in. There are no more borders in row this one. If I count 3, 1, 2, 3. So indeed, the bet tree is well embedded within its region. It is not sort of strewn off to the side like some sort of afterthought. Uh, uh, oh yes, where is red getting its 2 now? Because red only gets 1 more cell, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, red only gets one more cell, which means it has to get its 2 in column 2, and we know where the 2 in column 2 is, which is that it is there, which finishes red. And so now these are ocean spray. Uh, uh, see, uh, ocean spray. Ocean spray contains the Oblivion. That's true. Yes, a genus 1 region indeed. I am impressed. Uh, uh, yes, this 3. Where does it go in column 1? It can only go here. Garion points out. Uh, let's see. So I'm just going to fill these in just to let Sven help me. These are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one's not a 4. This one's not a 5 or a 6. This one's not a 5. Uh, uh, 1, 2, 3. There's already at least 5 borders in this row, so this one is at least a 5. It did not help as much as I hoped, I'm going to be honest. This number is 1 less than this. So this actually can't be a 5, because if this was a 5, that would be a 4, which doesn't work, which is cute. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh, Ocean Spray is actually at 9 cells, uh, which I somehow had not counted. But Ocean Spray is at 9 cells. In fact, it's in the shape of a 9, and it has 9 cells, so it's sort of autobiographical, if you will. And so Ron's point is, therefore, this is definitely not Ocean Spray. Oops. And therefore, it is Carnival Cake. We have Carnival Caked it appropriately. Oh, and this can't be Carnival Cake, because if this was Carnival Cake... Oh, sorry. This could be Carnival Cake if both of these are Carnival Cake. This can't be Ocean Spray, though, because if this is Ocean Spray, then this cell is nothing. So we can draw a border with Ocean Spray here, and if this is not Ocean Spray, then it is Carnival Cake. So I think my instinct there was correct. This cell or this cell, one of them is Ocean Spray. I wonder which one it is. I don't know yet. It is being pointed out that if I count both this cell and this cell, I know things about the count, because this one is, in fact, this one's exactly 7. I don't even have to debate what it is. It just is 7, because it can't be anything else. And this one already sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 borders. So this one can only be an 8. And so this is not a 7 or an 8. This is only a 5 or a 6. So we've got that. Carnival Cake, I am being told, needs a 1. And again, it is trapped where the only cells it can possibly take are these. And so the only one it can possibly get is this one. And so this one is Carnival Cake. Oops. Sorry. This one is Carnival Cake. And now if this isn't Carnival Cake creates a really tiny region in the process of getting there. So that is also going to be Carnival Cake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Carnival Cake only gets 1 more cell. It definitely doesn't take this 0. I deleted a 1. Oops. Where was the 1? Does anyone remember? It was probably here. I'm going to guess it was there. That's right. I said Carnival Cake has to take this to get the 1, and then deleted the 1. Excellent, excellent. Very on brand. Let's see. Carnival Cake. Oh no, Carnival Cake does not need a 4. Uh, what are these cells? I probably should fill them in if I have any hope of doing Sudoku. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 7, 8, and 9. And that one is the one that is 7 of the ones that are 7, 8, and 9. Uh, and now within this column, I have left, let's see, I've got 0, 1. I still need a 2. And in fact, the 2 in the column is placed because Carnival Cake already has a 2. So that's a 2. And so this is the other 5, 6 for the column. And so now this cell by Sortadoku is not 0, 1, 2. It could be 3. It's not 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, and it could be 9. So this is now 3 or 9. And the other cell in Carnival Cake is a 3 or a 9. Uh, uh, oh, wow, beautiful. Garion points out this can't be 6 because remember, this is one bigger, so this would be 6 and that would be 7, and it would break that cell. Amazing. So this is 5 and that's 6 and that's 5. Oops. And that's 6 and that's 7. Uh, lovely work. Now that's 3. Did you remember we had sandwich clues? I can't believe that I did, but somehow I remembered that we have sandwich clues. So we have that. So these are no longer 6. Uh, this is just a triple of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that one is an 8, that one is a 9, and that one's a 4. And if I count the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually, I have all of my 5. So these are in, oops. So these are in fact yellow, but let's not make it imposter yellow. Although I now kind of want to see what it looks like if I do a hybrid yellow / imposter yellow. Uh, I guess I can kind of see that this is a hybrid yellow / imposter yellow, but I will remove the imposter yellow from it just so that I don't upset anyone. All of these go together as friends, and they're probably a new color actually, because I don't think they can be anything else. There's no way they're royal purple is way too far off. So these can be Kelly. Everyone say hi to Kelly. Now these cells down here don't have room for a new region, amusingly because of this border. Otherwise, I could just fit a region here. I wonder if that's why this is here, is just to say that these 10 cells aren't together a region. And so that means everything down here is yellow or Kelly. And so in particular, that means that this is Kelly because the 0 can't be yellow. Yellow already has a 0. And so these are Kelly. Uh, the 1 also must be Kelly for the same reason. Oops. Dang it. Uh, so we've got all of that. Now, in fact, I need, and this must be yellow for the same reason again. And so now this must be yellow because if this were somehow Kelly, I would have multiple problems with the world. But one of them is that it would break this 1, which is somehow the one that I first saw. Now this cell is nothing but Kelly. Uh, uh, if you're curious, by the way, this is Hunter. That's Hunter, and that's Kelly. And this is Simon's sweater. If you want to learn the names of all of the colors there, but Kelly and Hunter are canonically married, so it makes sense that they're similar. So we've got Kelly there. Uh, Okay, yellow is currently 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells, so yellow can't ever get to this cell. So that cell is always Kelly. Now Kelly actually already has 7, 8, 9 cells. Kelly has 9 cells, so if Kelly took this cell would be nothing. So Kelly's last cell is here. Yellow's something cell is here. I don't know if it's last or not, but it is yellow. I don't think it's yellow's last cell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, yellow gets one more cell, but I do know it's not this one actually because I have a border on this side, so I also get a border there. So this cell's carnival cake. Uh, so we get that. So this is a new region. Uh, wait, is it a new region? Yeah, this is going to have to be part of purple, isn't it? It is. Yeah, crazy. This is a new region because it can't possibly be purple because purple already has a 0. And so this new region is going to need to take these 2 cells. I'm going to make it orange per suggestions. But now, oh no, this cell's also orange. Sorry, I was thinking that there had to be a border there because there wasn't a border yet, but I was just not counting smartly. So all of that is orange. Which means this one, we now have all of our regions, right? Let's highlight the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, but there need to be 11 regions. 11. There's my 11 regions, right? And so I have all the 11 regions. So everything left is wait, we have 12? Are there 12 regions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, it is 12. It is 12, right? So I'm missing one. Oh no, I just didn't highlight that's the 12th one. So there are 12 regions because I was doing 9 plus 2 in my head, but it's 10 plus 2 because there's zeros in the puzzle. Uh, so this one now has to belong to a region. It's certainly not to yellow, but it's also now not to orange, so it belongs to royal purple. Oops, I'm going to delete the 1 again. So these cells are all actually royal purple, in order that work out. This 3 now is certainly orange because royal purple already has one of those. Sorry, so I'll make it orange. We can get rid of the orange X within the orange. Uh, Royal purple is at 4, 5, 6, 7 cells. So royal purple can't take these because that would be it. Like literally, that would be it. And so purple wouldn't be connected. So these, in fact, are orange. So congratulations to all the orange betters out there. So I have an orange over there. Uh, Yellow still needs a cell, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thank you, Nicholas. Yes, yellow still needs a cell, and it's that one because it's now the only one that yellow is afforded. Let's see. Now, funnily enough, these 2 cells are a pair of Carnival Cake and Ocean Spray because Carnival Cake is done. Sorry. Carnival Cake finished. When did that happen? Who knows? Carnival Cake is now finished. And so therefore this cell is Ocean Spray. There we go. And so now Ocean Spray is finished. Now these cells have to be something, and they can't be anything but royal purple. Oops, wrong mode again. And now I only have one incomplete region, and so it is orange. And we can get rid of some X's. Da 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 da. Okay. So I guess we can now count all of our arrows, of which I maybe only have one left in the entire puzzle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This cell is indeed a 6. Uh, Let's see. These apparently are not 6. Okay, so let me get rid of these internal x's. If anyone sees any more internal x's, let me know and I will eliminate them. It sounded more ominous than I intended it to. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is what is left in here. These aren't 4. That's not 7. That's not 7. Oh, I could get rid of the external x's. I'm pretty sure this is going to sum to more than 17 no matter what, right? If I add in a 2 and a 6, yeah, this is going to break it. So yeah, I can get rid of the external x's as well. Good point. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. The grid looks like it used to say zetamath, and Chili tripped while carrying it. That seems feasible to me. Let's see. I was going to look at 3s. Let's see. What else should I fill in? Let's see. I know there's an 8 in one of these two cells in yellow. And I seem to know which one it is, actually. There's an 8 in that cell in yellow. So that can go away. Let's see. What is left in yellow? And we'll see if we have anything else. Let's see. 2. Yes, we do. We haven't placed a 2 in yellow yet. Okay, so now these are a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 5, 6, 9, which makes this a naked single. 0, 1, 2. It's a 3. It looks like it does appear to be a 3, which places this 3 over here, because now this needs a 3 and it can't be there because of the one hiding up in purple. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a 9. While we are at it, these are a triple, which I should fill in so that Sven can help out. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 2, 5, and 7. That 5, 7 looks over here and makes this an 8. Which knocks out those 8s there. Oh, Lakia asks if we're ignoring the last arrow. Not intentionally. Can anyone direct me towards the last arrow? If there's a last arrow, I still don't see it, even though I am told it is there. Row 9, column 4. Aha! We just never even pencil marked it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks to me like it contains a 7, which makes that a 9 and an 8. So these aren't 8, and they're not 9. Oh, so that is 4 and 7. That's an 8. These are a quad. I should fill in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that seems to be a naked 9. Let's see. So no 9s there, no 3, no 8. No 7 or a 9, no 7. Okay, so we've got all of that. Let us come in and finish up this one. So we've got 0, 1, 2. We need a 3. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this is apparently a naked 9, which makes that a 3. Those are a 6, 7 pair, which makes that a 5. These are not 3, 5, or 9, so they are indeed a 6, 7 pair. What about this one? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 7. So let's see. So one of these has to be able to be a 5. Okay, so sorry. These are not 5. It's not 6, 7, or 8. Not 7 or 8. Not 7 or 8. Not 6 or 7. These are a 5, 6, 9 triple. So therefore that's an 8. That's the point. Somehow each of these has like exactly 5 digits left in it as we continue doing this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One of these has to be a 3, as pointed out, and it's that one. So none of these are 3. Let's see, this one's not 6 or 8 either. That gives me a 5-9 pair in the row, which makes that an 8 and that a 9. It makes that not a 9, that not a 9, that not a 9. This not a 5 or an 8. Sorry, I hit the wrong buttons. This one not a 5 or an 8. This one not a 5. As we fill that in. Okay, what about blue? Da dee dee da dee da. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got lots of things that we can rule out of there. So for example, this one can only be a 3. So we can get 3 out of the rest of these. These can't be 2 or 8, so they're a 5-6 pair, which means that's a 2 and an 8, which makes that a 6 and a 9, and a 5 and a 9, and a 6 and a 5, and a 7 and a 6, and an 8, and a 6 and a 5, and a 7. Let's see, that's a 4-8 pair now, so that's a 3. Let's see, that's a 5 and a 2 and a 7. 9 and 5 and 6. Let's see. So we got a 7 and a oops. We've got a 7 and a 3 that can come out of there. Let's fill in this quad for the column. So it's not 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what is left, which has made that a 5 and a 4, and an 8 and a 7, and a 4 and an 8, and a 9 and a 4 and a 5. And so now this is a pair for the column, not 0, 1. One of them's a 2, 3. One of them's a 4, I believe. No? Did I do that? No, not 4, not 5. One of them's a 6. So that's a 6, and that's a 2. And our bet tree, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a 9. So congratulations to all the 9 bettors out there. May all your betting tree wishes come true. I think I am meant to pay out the 9 bettors. Let me pick 9 bettors. With 0% of the bets. Apologies to 9 bettors. Or sorry, apologies to the none 9 bettors. Yep. It's closer to 2.5 hours. The puzzle was open for a little bit before that. The regions do seem to spell zetamath. I do agree. I also see that, but it may be my vanity. Alrighty, I'm going to take a quick break, stretch a bit, and I will be back in just a moment with more Sortadoku action. So see you all in just a moment. This grid looks fun. Uh, Funnily enough, we were going to start with Paul Flies today, but then Paul Fly asked if we could wait until later in the stream, and I said, okay, well, I'll start with Jay's then. But then Jay was at work, so then we pushed back, and then we started with Chili's, which was great. But then
Hang on.
something is wrong, apparently.
Yeah. This got pressed.
But anyway, then we did Chili's, and anyway, we're now back to Paul Fly's. Anyway, we will get to all of the puzzles eventually. Tristan is being very upset with the sound ever since I got the new laptop. All right, so here is a puzzle called A Whole Bunch of Nonsense, which I enjoy. Both the name and the initial look at the grid are quite exciting. Fill all non-gray cells with the digits 1 through 9, so there are no repeats regions. Does that mean no? Am I meant to read that as no repeats within rows and columns and regions? Along rows and columns, digits can't repeat if there are no gray cells in between them. Normal constraint rules apply. So pink lines are Renbans. Orange lines are Dutch whispers. Thank you, Paul Fly, for bringing that back. Green lines are German whispers. Red lines are Chinese whispers. Teal lines are modular lines. The blue line is a between line. The gray lines are sequence lines, and normal arrows and X rules. So sequence lines means they form an arithmetic progression? Or does it mean it's a Renban, but it goes in order? Tristan wants to fix the sound again.
Yeah, it's bad. I just need to...
Okay. I will leave you in Tristan's capable hands.
Sorry, folks. I tried making changes midstream, and that was a terrible idea. Check. Oh, actually, that's fine. Right? That sounds good.
All fixed? Alrighty, so I am back until Tristan comes back to fix the sound again. And so I missed people saying what sequence lines are. Okay, Kodak agrees with me that it's arithmetic progression lines. It looks... Oops. Sorry, I did not mean to move the bet tree. Arithmetic progression in order, I think. It looks to me like box 5 is just empty. So yeah, I think this region is no more. So I think we have our sort of Oblivion cells for the puzzle. And so in rows, we have perfectly normal things. So the sequence line means that these things go in some order. So, and have the same difference between them. So it could be 2, 3, 4. That would be a difference of 1, or it could be 2, 4, 6. which would be a difference of 2, or 2, 5, 8, which would be a difference of 3. It could go in any order or whatnot. So we've got sorry, I was shorthanding it to make sure I knew what it was so I could explain it, but then I got distracted by the whole sound thing, and so then I didn't actually explain it. But I didn't want to explain it until I was sure I knew what it was. Okay, so this arrow sums to a minimum of 6, I believe. Oh, sorry, no, it sums to a minimum of 7, I think. Based on the fact that these sum to at least 1, 2, 3 plus 1. So this is a 7, 8, or a 9. And this is a 1, 2, 3 for the same reason. No, Jaleb, because 2 of those are in the same region. This is at least 3, of course. Let's see. And these are at most 1, 2. I guess these are at most 5. If I wanted to fill that in. That's true. I need a 1 in these cells, Jay Dyer points out, because if we don't put a 1 on in these cells, then we run into rather large issues, which is that these would be 2, 3, 4 plus 1 there. I think that's what the first sentence, fill all non-gray cells with the digits 1 through 9 so there are no repeats regions, means. I think it is missing a word like within regions or something like that. I agree also this can't be a 1 because if this was a 1, it would be 1, 2, 3, and then these would break. So this is not a 1. I don't think it can be a 2 either because then this would be 2, 3, 4. And that would be somehow even worse. This is a 3. That doesn't work either, because this would be 3, 4, 5. And that would be even worse. Oops, sorry. So this is a 4. So this is either a 4 or a 5, and these go from 4, 5, 6, 7. With for sure a 5 and a 6, but also you only get 1, 4, 5 on a 3-cell arrow, so these are from 1, 2, 3. People are claiming that I missed something. How could this be a 2? This is a 3-cell long Renbon, right? So if this is a 2, these are 3 and 4. And now these are minimum 1 and 5. Oh, that does work. Sorry, that does work. I don't know how in my brain I was adding too many digits because that would work. Sorry. So the only thing that was correct out of all of that nonsense was the fact that it couldn't be 1. Unfortunately, in my brain in my brain, I was still not including the 1. That's how my math was coming off badly. If this was 1, that couldn't be 1. And so people are wondering if that might be a problem. as of yet unknown. So there is an 8 or a 9 in this box, it is worth pointing out. There might not be both, but there's an 8 or a 9, and it certainly doesn't go with these 5, 6, 7 was the highest. So there's an 8 or a 9 up here. And so if there's an 8 or a 9, then these are from 6, 7, 8, 9 for sure, and definitely contain a 7 and an 8. Aha. Gotcha. That's how I should do this. And so that just tells me that this arrow is a 9. Okay. So we get to do a 9 dance. Ba-boop-a-doop. Wah! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wee! Ba-doop-a-doop. Wah! Wah! Thank you. So this is a 9. These are 6, 7, 8. And now I need to ask where the 5 goes in this box. So the 5 in this box certainly has to go on this Renbon. Oh, is that true? Maybe not. Sorry, I think I'm trying to say nonsense again. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm again saying things that are nonsensical. Sorry. It's still true that these need to be at most 4. Yeah, these are certainly from 1, 2, 3, 4. I should fill in. Yeah, there's definitely a 3 and a 4 on the Renbon. That's true. So these are not 3 or 4 because we know it's from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, it's from 2, 3, 4, 5 because there's certainly not a 9 down here. And so there's definitely a 3 or a 4 over here. And so, yeah, so there's either a 5 here or there isn't, is the thing. And I could still do 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would still be seemingly okay, as best I can discern it. That's true. This digit is a maximum of 5, J. Dyer points out, because it sees 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's a minimum of 3, so this is only from 3, 4, 5. So in particular, that definitely isn't a 5. So we've got that. And so this is from 1, 2, 3, 4 at most. Fascinating. Okay. So a bunch of 6, 7, 8, and 9 have to go in this box. I'm trying to decide what I can do with the fact that 3 of these digits have to be from 6, 7, 8, 9. But I don't know quite what to do with that. Jaleb pointing out one of these 2 digits is a 9, because there does need to be a 9 in row 3. That is true. Let's see. What are red lines again? Chinese whispers. Okay. This circle is certainly large, but I don't know what to do with that just yet. Let's see. Can this be a 5? Let's see. A 5 here would have to go next to a 1 there. Is there something wrong with this going 5, 1? I don't see what's immediately wrong with this being 5-1. I mean, in the universe where this is a 5, that's a 3. Uh, 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 yeah, I think Selena is right. I think this could still go 5-1 something 2, and I think still be okay. So 3 of these cells need to be from 6, 7, 8, 9, which means one of these 2 is from 6, 7, 8, 9, which means this cell is certainly from 6, 7, 8, 9. Because if that cell is from 6, 7, 8, 9, then definitely this one is because it's more than it. And if this one is, it's equal to it. So this number is always high, at least. Now, if that's a 9, these are a 7, 8 pair. It doesn't sound great. It is a very retraction-heavy day, but that is to be expected out of Sortadoku Day. Chinese whispers. So we've got that. So this is from 6, 7, 8, 9, I guess is the point. Let's see. And this is a between line, right? Yeah, this is a between line. Remember, 9 can actually go next to 9 on a Chinese whisper. Which is a thing I always forget, but 9 can go next to 9. Oh, I think I'm kind of inclined to believe Selena's point. Let's see. Am I inclined to believe Selena's point? Is it really possible that I repeat in these? Yeah, I think I could. I think I could make both of these a 1, and then just have one of these boxes not have a 1, and then I think it's okay. So I think I really could repeat. Well, not in the same region, but whatever. You know what I mean. Yeah, I wasn't literally meaning these 2. I just meant 2 of the... I think I could put 2 1s in there without breaking the combinatorics of how this works because of the empty holes. And that would be it, most 3 copies, Selena. Oh, no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. It would be 4. You're right, because if I repeat 2 within here, yep. If I repeat 2 within here, then I still have one here and I still have one here, and that's still 4 of them. Yep. So yeah, so there actually can't be repeats within this row. Okay, that makes sense. So just if you have not seen this, so the rules imply that you're allowed to have repeats in here, but you can't have repeats in here because if you count the number of ones I'm allowed, the number of ones that I'm allowed to have is 3 because I can't repeat within regions. But I know there's a 1 in row 1 and I know there's a 1 in row 3, so that only leaves at most 1 1 to have in these cells. So that means that this cell is never a 1, and it certainly means that this is never a 5, because if this were a 5, then we would go 5, 1, 2, 2, and that's too many. And so these are an honest 1-2 pair, which does make that a 3, and makes that a 3 because of math, and makes these a 4-5 pair, and makes that a 4. And so that makes that a 5, and that a 1, and that a 2. And so no 4 there, no 3 there. So we've got that. Why did I say one of these had to be a 9? Right, one of these has to be a 9 for the row. So this cell can't be a 9. So this cell can only be a 1 or an 8, I believe. Oh, it also can't be a 9 because of that. This digit is big enough, Eckbert points out, that this digit can't be very large. So this digit is at most, well, it's at most 5, except that 4 and 5 are gone. So it is in fact actually at most 3, but 3 is actually gone. So this is only a 1 or a 2. And so once this is only a 1 or a 2, actually the most this arrow can sum to is 7, which means that's certainly not the 9. That's the 9. Which now means these are from 7, 8, 9. Now, this number has to be lower than this one because if this number is higher, the most we could do is make these 7, 8, which would make a 7, 8, 9 quadruple. So this number is at least 7, 6, 5. It's at most 4. So we have that in store at least. That digit's not an 8, I agree. It's only 6 or 7 because it's equal to that digit. 8 and 6 or 7 are not equal, I agree. So these cells are just by the between line from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're not 4 by Sudoku. So it is true. I still can't put 5 on an X, even in this puzzle. Nor can I put 6 on this X because of that 4, actually. So this is only actually 2 or 3, which actually rules out 4 from this, and rules out 3 as well, because 3 would still block it off. So actually this is only a 1 or a 2. This is a 7 or an 8. Along here. And there is another 7, 8, 9 along here, actually. And it can't go there. This can't be a 7, 8, 9. Because if it was, this one would be between them. So this is the 7, 8, 9. But this certainly can't be a 9 because on the sequence line that would break because I'd go 9 what? This number would have to be bigger. So now this is a 6 and that's a 9 and that's a 9. I'm assuming you can't repeat on sequence lines because then they wouldn't be sequence lines. That's not a 9. That's not a 6. Yes, that does resolve the 7, 8 pair. True. Yes, because 6, 8, 7, 9 is not a valid sequence, which makes that a 2, which does make that a 1. Is that not a 2? So this is either 1, 2, 3 or 1, 3, 5. Anything else I do is going to make this too large. That's going to be a 1, which now makes that a 5 and a 6. Coming back over here. So that's a 4 and an 8. And so that's a 6 because it's equal to that number. These are a 2, 7 pair, it turns out. This number, though, I know is from 1, 2, 3, 4, and so this can't be a 2. It has to be a 7, with that being the 2. No 2 there. In fact, that has become a 3. That has become a 5. So I probably can force this now, although it seems very unpleasant. Let's see if this. So what do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what I have left. Never put a 1 in the middle. So if I don't use 1, I have to make a sequence line out of 3, 4, 7, 8, which seems very unlikely to be profitable. Because 2 of those numbers differ by 1. So one difference would be 1 and the other wouldn't be. So this has to be the 1. So now this has to be the 3, 4. This has to be the 7, 8 in order to make that possibly work. Because it has to go in order. And I can't do 1, 3, 4, 3, 4. And so 1, 3 would bring me to 5. That doesn't work. So I have to do 1, 4 going to 7. Which does make that an 8. Like that. Let's see what Mark says about these digits. Oh, right. This can, sorry. This could also have been 159, points out Jay Dyer. So that's a 7 and a 2. These are certainly from 7, 8, 9. That one's not 8. That one's not 7. Oh, this one's not a 4 because 7 doesn't differ by enough from 4. This can't be a 1 because it would repeat 3 within the column. So this is a 3. So from 1, 2, 4, 5. That one's not a 2, so that one's not a 3, owing to that. This is the other of 3 and 9. There's always a 5 on this line, so this is only from 3 or 9. Okay, I'm being encouraged to mark this. So this is not a 6. Because there's a 6, 7, 8 triple. So this is a 1 or a 4 for whatever it is worth. 3, by the way, not 4 away from 6. So I can at least, I can remove the 6 from that cell. It doesn't do anything, but I can feel good about it. Okay, and these are modular lines. So that means this is one of each mod 3 thing. which I don't think is going to do anything interesting. Well, no, it does do something interesting. There's definitely a 6 on it, because there's no 6 anywhere else. And so if it has a 6, then it can't also have a 9, which means that's the 9 for the column, because the column does need a 9. So that's an 8. And so we know we've got a 6 there. And so now this digit is not the same as that. So this is not 3, 6, or 9. And it's not 8 or 1 either. So this is down to only being 2, 4, 5, or 7. We also need to put a 7 in this column. That's true. And in fact, the 7 actually is forced to go there. Is that true? No, it's not forced to go there. Sorry. The 7 goes down here, which means there's a 1 or a 4 here, but we knew there was a 1 or a 4 here because that's how renbans work. Yep, and so we've got a 2, 5, or 8 down here is the... Oh, no, it's not an 8. It's a 2 or a 5. Okay, so what is left to go here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And these really can't be 7. That one really can't be 2. So this could... Oh, sorry. This can't be 2, 4, 6. So if there's no 1 here at all, and there's no 3... Oh, it could be 4, 5, 6. It could be 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 2, 4, 6 does not work, but 4, 5, 6 does. I was trying to prove there had to be a 1 on it, but I don't think there does have to be a 1 on it. So I think 2, 4, 6 and 4, 5, or sorry, I think, so what could 1 go with? Maybe 1 can't go with anything, because I can't do 1, 2. I can't do 1, 3. 1, 4, 7? There's certainly not a 1 in the middle, by the way. 1, 4, 7 doesn't work either, actually. Yeah, so 1 actually doesn't work at all, because anything I do with 1 is going to break the renban, because 1, 4, 7 also breaks the renban. So actually, there is no way I can do 1. So the smallest number can't go in the middle. So the middle is always a 4, 5, or 6. And so what about 2? If I put 2 here... Yeah, 2, 4, 6 definitely breaks the renban. So 2, 5 would get me to 8. I don't have an 8, so this can't be a 2. Okay, so 7. 7, 6, 5 seems fine. 7, but 7, 5, 3 is already too small. So I think this is either 4, 5, 6 or 5, 6, 7. And either way, it doesn't have a 5 on it, is I think what I am learning out of this. Okay, so unfortunately, I have to think about this more because Selena has spotted that this cell is a 5, 6 by value cell. I guess that does give me a triple to start with, which makes that a 4, which makes that an 8 and a 7 and a 6. Okay, this is going to be not as terrible as I thought it was going to be, because now these are a 1, 2. And going on down here. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is what these are. It's not a 7, that's not a 6. Uh, but the version where this is a 7 involves the 5, 6 being in this column. That was the thing that was exactly the kind of thing I was afraid of. If this is a 7, then I can only go 7, 6, 5 and it breaks. So this is in fact not a 7. And if this is a 4, 5, 6 triple, the 5 is definitely in the middle, which makes that a 6 and a 4 and a 6. Sequence lines are just a horrible constraint. I'm sorry. I apologize to any sequence line fans in the chat. Let's see. So these are 2, 3, 9, but this one and this one have to be the same, and this one's not divisible by 3, so this one can't be. So these are both 2, and that is 3 and 9 and 1. So that is 5 and 9 and 3 over there. So this is 1. This has to be 1 mod 3. So it is 4 or 7. Except the 7 I know is over in this column already, so I know this is a 4 actually. This isn't a 4 or a 5 apparently, and this isn't a 5. So these two need to be the same for what it's worth. Let's see. This is 2, 6, or 7. What on earth is it? Oh, this is a Chinese Whispers again. Yeah, there's probably some combination here that by a short look ahead breaks. I'm going to try not to use that if I can get away with it. I might not be able to get away with it. 3, 6, and 9 are gone from this sequence line, which is interesting. Let's see. Maybe I should just write out what these can be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, this one's certainly not 5. It's not 4 either because it's on Whisper line. 6 would go with 1. 3 would go with 8. Let's see. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, Todd, if that was, does this have a difference of 2 or a difference of 3? And a difference of 2 doesn't work because it would use a 3, 6, or a 9. And a difference of 4 would make it 1, 5, 9, which can't be. So this does have a difference of 3. So this is either 1, 4, 7, or with a 4 in the middle, or 2, 5, 8 with a 5 in the middle. Oops. So it's the opposite of what this is part of the point. This is 1 or 8, right? So Yeah. Okay. 6147. Uh, 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 so I can fill in the outer flanges of this. They're either 1-7 or they're 2-8. Just for the record. So that's true. Okay, so there's a 2-7 virtual pair is the point between these because this is 1-4-7 or it's 2-5-8. It always has a 2 or a 7, so therefore that's a 6. That is only a little ridiculous. So it is 1-7 is the answer. At the end of the day. So let's see. So these are not 6. And in fact, 6 is 2 away from 8, which makes that a 1 and that a 7. And means that needs to be a 5. Chinese whisper logically. So I loved that 2-7 virtual pair was adorable. I really liked that. Even though it involved an ugly sequence line deduction, the virtual pair was cool. And so we get to see that the betting tree is a 2. So congratulations to the 2 bettors. May all your betting tree wishes come true. Very nice puzzle. I quite enjoyed that. The deduction about the way that sort of the combinatorics worked about this was cute. With the fact that you couldn't actually repeat numbers in here. Let's see. But we did, in fact, get to repeat some numbers across the big chasm in the middle. So that was cool. I was sort of tempted at one point to do like a puzzle where I just deleted the Fistamafel ring from it and then otherwise made it a Sudoku puzzle, but I could never find anything sort of too compelling to do with it. But I tried at various points to do it. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be back in a minute with, I'm not quite sure what. I'll have to see. I don't know. Several people have probably done this puzzle. Is there any chance I could do this puzzle in 30 minutes? I'm going to guess the answer is no. So I'm probably going to do 6x6s. But I will be back in a moment, and then we'll figure out what I'll do. Boop-a-doop. Bye, Paul Fly. See you again soon, I hope. Alrighty. Instead of the J Dyer 7x7 for the Sortadoku challenge, we'll do that one next time. We're going to do the J Dyer 6x6 from the 6x6 bucket. Scrolled back quite a ways for this one. So we have normal 6x6 rules. 6 cells are doublers and have value equal to double their digit. So if this was a 5, but it's doubled, it counts as a 10 for purposes. And we have sandwich clues. No, sorry. We have X-sum clues. So this will give you the sum of the first n cells in that column, reading from the column's end. Sorry, reading from the clue's end. And the circle here is the sum of the digits along the arrow. However, for each clue type, one of them is false. Oh, however, for one of the clue types, the 1 in the previous sentence is doubled. So for one clue type, 2 of them are false, and for one clue type, 1 of them is false. Oh, Lord. Okay, so whichever of these arrows is correct requires a doubler. And so at least one of these 3 is correct. So therefore that cell is not a doubler. That might be the best that I can do at the moment. I'm going to guess I can't double to more than 6 in any of these. I guess even doubling to 6 isn't quite going to work. So actually a sum of 21 is actually a little bit tricky because if you include all the digits, it's going to sum to more than 21. And of course, so one of these can be a 6 and it will just work. And another can be something doubled, but it would have to double to 4 if it was doubling to anything. Or just be, say, a 5. Can I get to 21 and 5 with a doubler somewhere in it? Like a double 6 or something? Probably, right? I'm sure I could get there with that. Okay, so... Oh, right. Sorry. 6 will break because of the doubler in the column. Right. There is a doubler in the column somewhere. Right. Martin is completely right. Right. So I have to put a doubler. Or sorry, I can't put a 6. So what can I do? If I put a naked 5, then the column itself sums to 21 plus the doubler. And so I would need this digit at the bottom to be equal to the doubler once, which is not possible. So I can't put a 5 here even, because let's just for example's sake, let's just say there's a 6 in this column, and I want to make this a 5. Then what does this column sum to? Well, it sums to 27, which means I need to make this cell sum to 6. But that's a problem because of this 6. But if I make this a 4, it doesn't make it any better. Because if I make this a 4, now the column sums to 25, so I need to make this cell sum to 4, and I can't. Because I'm always repeating the value of the doubler. So in fact, I can't make these a 5 or a 6. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make it something like a 3, right? Even 3665 is right. Is 3665 is 12 20, right? So I can't, so 21 I can't do a 3. So the only way I get there is with a 4. Could I get there with a doubled 4? Let's try doubled 4 here. I don't think we can, because now the column sums to now this doesn't work because my outies need to sum, my outies, which are these two cells, need to sum to need to sum to 2, right? Because the column sums to 23. So I need these two cells to sum to 2. It doesn't work. So I think we have shown the only way to actually make this work is with one of these being a 4. And that means it's an honest 4. I don't think there's any other way to do it. Does anyone dispute that I have missed a case or anything like that? Because I feel like we've just proven that the only way to do this clue correctly is that, which means that 2 of the arrows must be correct. And of course, the 2 of the arrows that are correct both have doublers, which means that that is always a doubler, because otherwise I can't get to enough doublers. The minimum sum here is 7, so this needs to be 4, 5, 6. Of course, these won't be doublers either. One of these 2 circles will have to be a doubler. So we have that. And so the 2 cells at the bottom of the column with the true 21x sum to the doubler. How did I not put a doubler? What on earth did I do? Oh, I don't know what on earth I did, but it was silly. Right, there's a doubler here. Okay, but it is not in this column. I agree with that assessment. And so actually the minimum sum of these cells is 7, 8. So again, this is still 4, but that doesn't actually improve my case that this is 4, 5, or 6. Oh, wait, sorry. This cell is on the arrow. So I was missing that fact. So I was doing this as 1, 2, 3, 1, but that's not true. The cells on this arrow that are not equal to this sum to this is what happens. And so, but I could have, for example, this cell goes here and I could still do, oh, 1, 2, 1 doesn't work because again, one of these is doubled. So the minimum is actually double 1, 2, 1, which is 5. So we've got that going on. Could I double both of these? Probably not, says Ron, because if I doubled both of these, they would sum to 6, plus that level's already duplicated, plus 1. Yeah, that doesn't work. So yeah, so this can't be a doubler, Ron points out, because this would also be doubled. Suddenly the doublers would sum to at least 6 already, plus this digit's already on the arrow, plus we've got one more cell. So, so this is never a doubler. Okay. Of course, one of these is a 4, 5, or 6. Does my same argument that they can't be 4 work? I think my same argument that they can't be 4 works. I don't think I used anything. I don't think I used anything spectacular in there. Garion says this has to be a 1. If I put this digit here, I could do 2, double 1, 2. What's wrong with 2, double 1, 2? Now, certainly the cells here sum to a minimum of 4, except for this one. So this one is always certainly a 1 or a 2. I'm willing to go that far. Does that mean this arrow can't be real if I can't use both a 1 and a 2? It sure seems like this is going to be the one that's fake. Because yellow is a doubler. Yeah, I could put a like green circle to mark that I know that this one is telling the truth. So it is true to say that I can't use the double 3 anywhere. So the double 1 and the double 2 do both appear on these arrows. And the one with a double 2, what's going to go on it? It's going to be a double 2 and a 1 or a 2. Well, it can't be a double 2 and a 2. It's got to be a double 2 and a 1. So the one with a double 2 definitely also has a 1. And the one with a doubled 1, it's going to be doubled 1 plus something. If there's no 2, to do double 1 plus 3 plus 1, that would be 6. So the one with a double 2, it has to be double 2 plus 1 plus 1. So the equals 6. So double 2 plus 1 plus 1, that one is summing to 6. So the other one needs to sum. So the one with the doubled 1 needs to sum to 5. And so then I'd get double 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. And so indeed, I do need a 1 and a 2 on the correct arrow. So this is the one that is incorrect because of this 1, 2 pencil mark here. So we have at long last deduced what is happening here. So this is a 5 or a 6. And so there is a 1 and a 2 in here. Oh, I just grayed some stuff weirdly again. I don't know why I keep graying stuff. But we do know that this is... I keep reflexively graying stuff for some reason that I don't understand. Very poorly. But anyway, this is a 5 or a 6. And that means that there is a 1, 2 here and a 1, 2 here. And I know that this is a 1 or a 2. The only n that works is a regular 4. So n is regular 4 for the right thing. And then the regular 4 has to have 2 digits at the end of the column that sum to 4. And so those have to be 1 and 3. And so in particular, oh, maybe that could be here. Never mind. Oh, well, this can't possibly be the 4. Because if this was the 4, it would put a 4 on here, and that just completely blows the bank. Because these digits are a 1, a 2, and this digit. So that's not the 4 for sure. So we can mark that one's definitely bogus. Row 6, column 4 is gray. I agree with that. Also, one of these is a doubler, so these are gray. And this is gray, so one of these two is a doubler. So the double digit over here can only be a 3 or a 4, and the double digit down here can only be a 3 or a 4. And so these digits see a 3-4 pair. So these are from 1, 2, 5, 6. For sure. And the column with a 4 has a 1, 3 at the end of it, right? 1, 3 is the only way I'm making a sum to 4. I can't do double 2 and 1, can I? Why did the arrow in box 5 need a doubler on it? I don't know. Not for any good reason. These arrows definitely need doublers. This one is a nonsense clue, so it does not need a doubler. You're correct. Didn't we prove in both cases that these digits are 1? Because the 1 for 5 is double 1 2 1, and the 1 for 6 is double 2 1 1. So the outside cell's actually always a 1. We in fact know. So that's not the 4 either, is the point, because the 4 needs a 1 3 at the end of the column, right? No, sorry, 4 is not the doubler in the column. Sorry, the end of the column sums to the doubler in the column is what I mean to say, not to 4. It sums to the doubler in the column. Yeah, it's not summing to 4. It's summing to the other thing. Yeah, that. So yeah, the outies need to sum to the doubler, and so the outies need to sum to the doubler, and the doubler needs to be included. So the only way that's going to work is, as Ron points out, if this is the 4, not that one. Because if this is the 4, then I can't make the outie sum to the doubler, because the doubler is either a 1 or a 2. Oops. Stop it. So there we go. So this is the 4. This is the correct one. This is the incorrect one. And these two digits, so if this is a 5, then these would be 2, 3. And if this is a 6, these would be 1, 5. And that's not a 1, so that's not a 5. Oh, I don't know why my green... That was supposed to be a red X. There we go. So we've got all of that. As Garion points out, 1 is placed up here because of the fact that I know there's a 1 down here in this box, so the 1's not up there. And now that, because of that 1, places a 1 there. So So 1 is down in one of these two cells. This is the arrow where the 1 isn't the one that's doubled. So this is the 5, and that's the 6. So that means that these are indeed a 2-3 pair in order to make that work. So that's the... Right, I need to place a 1 in this column, and it only goes there. So that's the 6. Right. Sorry, Garian's right. I did this backwards. Right. 1 is doubled on the 5, so this is the 6. Sorry, 1 is doubled on the 5, so that is the 6. And that's the 5, and it's the 2 that's doubled up here. These two need to sum to 6, so they need to be 1 and 5. That's not the 1. So, 1 is doubled here, so it goes there. So that's the 1. And so these are a 2-5. Which go in that order. These are a 2-6, which go in some order. And now we can... that's a 2. Oh, that's a 2, right? Just by Sudoku, that's a 2. So this is not the doubler, and that is... So that's a 6, and that's a 2. Oops, sorry. So that's a 2 and that's a 6. Sorry. That is yellow. That's not yellow. That is yellow. These are a 3-4 pair. For sure. That's a 2. Let's mark the rest of the grid. So it would seem that is a 3 and a 4 and a 3 and a 4. 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 3, 4, 6, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, 2. And we have to double check that 5 plus 4 plus double 3 plus 4 is not equal to 3. I believe. But I think I have successfully checked that because I think it is more than 3. Okay. There we go. Okay, that was very cute. I liked the X sum turning out that you could only make it a 4, because if you made it a 5, then you ended up with this weird situation where you needed to repeat the doubler in the column, which was not initially clear, but then was sort of like once you sort of got the idea of what's happening here that you'd need to repeat the doubler. So that was all very neat. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up stream there for today. So thank you so much for everyone hanging around. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And please do like the stream, regardless of if you're new or not. Please do take a second to hit the thumbs up button. It really does help. I will be back on Friday with more Sortadoku, so you can look forward to seeing more of this. And last but certainly not least, thank you to everyone who supports the stream. Thank you for the generous donation today from David. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who supports the stream in whatever way you do. If you want to support the stream financially, no pressure to do so, but you absolutely can. And it is greatly appreciated if you do. You can just click the join button down below. And then you can get the windmill and the Zach emotes and all of these fun little things. So thank you so much to all of you who choose to do that. And on a final note, I'll thank the people who donated at the top level: David, Nordy, Franco, Daniel, Danita, Nell, and Plonktime. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out today. And I'll see everyone real soon. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.